Hi y'all, welcome to my channel. This is Carrie with Booked for Romance, and I am so excited you guys have joined me for this new thing I'm doing. This is the very first new newbie book tag of this channel. So this is the first time I'm not unboxing something, so I'm kind of really excited about it. But yeah, so welcome. This is called the Newbie Book Tag, and this is your chance to get to know your booktuber or book channel person. So I'm really excited. I want to give a special mention to Crystal at Bookish Life. She gave me this really great idea, and I was like, that is brilliant to get to know who you're hanging out with for a little bit. So thank you for that, Crystal. And here we go. I did only take a few of her questions because if anybody knows me really well, I tend to talk and talk and talk. So I only took a couple because I didn't want this video to be super long, but here we go. Okay, question number one. I'm gonna get my trusty clipboard here. My Owl Crate clipboard, and the first question was, why did I start this channel? And if anybody knows, has been watching the channel or has seen me on Instagram, they know that I was fortunate enough to get 1,000 books from Craigslist for $50. And what you guys probably didn't know about that story was I did message at PeaceLoveBooksXO, and she was so sweet. She got back to me right away, and my question was to her was, do you think anybody would like to see what was in these boxes? And she had said, absolutely, unbox them for everybody. Like, they would probably love to see what you're seeing. And I was just so excited that she had DM'd me back, but also said, like, you guys would be excited about this, that I was like, okay. So then I decided to give it a shot, and now I'm here, and this is my new channel. So that is how I started anyway. But yeah, next question. What are you most excited about? And honestly, all of you guys. Like, I'm so excited to have partners in crime of reading, and I'm so excited to have some really awesome people that read what I read. I tend to want to join groups, and it's been really hard because I see a lot of like mystery or horror, and it's like nobody does romance around my area or something, and I'm just like, please someone talk romance books with me. I mean, any romance. I mean, I'm getting into historical. I love fantasy romance, oh my goodness, but I just wanted to be involved with some sort of romance book, and I don't know if people are shy about it or what, because I used to be totally shy about it. I'd be like, oh, no, I read so-and-so, but I'm like, now I'm just like, no, I read romance, and I love it, so I'm owning that. So, yeah, so it's nice to get to hang out with you guys for a little bit, and talk books, and talk books that I actually enjoy, so, yep. Third question, why do you love reading? And it's like the old saying goes, is that you get to live 1,000 different lives when you read, and you get to live 1,000 different romances when you read. And I love falling in love, and even though my love story has been incredible, and maybe one day I'll share it with you guys of how I fell in love, and it's always going to be special in my heart. I feel like you could probably write a book about it, but it's just fun to experience it and feel what the author felt. And when they do a well-written book, you guys know what I'm talking about. It's just like you can really feel it to your bones, and that's why I love reading it, because you get to go on a different adventure every single day, and it's awesome to feel what the author was feeling at the time, and you get to experience that. So yeah, that's why I love reading anyway. Number 4. What question would you ask your favorite booktuber? Well, I know what I would ask my favorite booktuber. It would be a lot of questions. I think the first question would be like, hey, do you want to hang out? Do you want to talk books? Do you want to collab someday? Yeah, I think she knows who she is. She definitely is my favorite. I mean, I do I have a lot of favorites, to be honest, but to give you a hint, she has an XO in her name. So yeah, she's one of my favorites. I mean, every time she comes out with a recommendations video, my TBR gets fatter. Like, no joke. She does these recommendations, and it's not like, oh, there's 2 recommendations she does and I could take those 2. No, I literally, she recommends like 20 books and I write down like 19 of them. So I definitely, she's one of my faves. And yeah, if she ever wanted to collab, I would be all about that. So yeah. Yep. Anyway. Okay. When did you start reading? I started really reading, and I mean really reading is probably, I would say, at the end of high school, early college. Only, like, I didn't really start loving reading till I was an adult. I did, when I grew up, I struggled with reading. I was a struggling reader, and for me it was just a little taboo. But I grew up, and then for me it was work. Like, reading was work. I mean, you go through high school and you read so much for school, you're like, I don't really want to read extra. And then college, you're just slammed with a bunch of books. So then I started to really enjoy reading when I was pregnant with my first child. And it was awesome because it's true, when you're pregnant, like, you have all these like imaginations going on in your head, and then when you start reading awesome books, it's like elaborated 10 times full. So I definitely really started loving reading when I was pregnant with my first kid, and then yeah, it just took off from there. I mean, and then also, I mean, I was able to find more books that I wanted to read, especially with the genre of fantasy. I feel like fantasy for me is kind of my thing, and it was really hard to find fantasy readers back in the day, to where now it's like you can find fantasy readers almost anywhere. I mean, Harry Potter was like the innovation, but that was in my high school years. That was like late college at that point. And then I was already like busy, trying to get essays done and things like that. So yeah, so I didn't really start reading till I was probably pregnant with my son. Okay, next question. What book series got you into reading? So since I didn't start really reading till I was pregnant with my son, my first one that really got me, was this Hunger Games. Now, everybody's probably heard of it. If you haven't heard of it, maybe you've been living in a rock. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, so Hunger Games. And it was my sister-in-law who was like, oh, let's read the books together. And I was like, okay, but I had already seen the first movie, so she had asked, well, actually, I had asked her, because I know the books are better, but at the time, I was like, I just want to kick into the second one. I don't want to have to go back and read the first one. Just tell me what I had missed, because once I kind of know the plot to a book, it's really hard for me to read the book, because then at the end of the day, it's like, I know everything big that's happened. Like, even though it's written better, it's hard for me to be like, let me go and read that. So then we ended up reading the second and third one. And yeah, I like blew through those. And then after that, I read the Divergent series. And let me tell you about the Divergent series. Was I heartbroken? Yes. Did I scream at the book? Yes. Did maybe I throw it across the room? Yes. I got what the author was doing, but yeah, it was really sad. If anybody's read the Divergent series, you know what I'm talking about. That book broke my heart. So moving on from there, I ended up doing Caraval. And actually, I'll go get that book because it's just so pretty. You guys have to see it. Okay, so here's the book, Caraval. And this book is amazing. This book really did get me into the genre of fantasy romance. It's a YA fantasy romance. And I'm going to go into this book next. I'm going to do a video, well, it's going to be like either fantasy romance for beginners, or if you read historical romance, then this is the fantasy romance you will like. It's going to be named something like that. But this is one of the books I'll tell you about on that video. But I just loved it. I mean, it definitely gets you into the genre without like overwhelming you, I guess is a good way of putting it. And it really captured me, and it made me love fantasy romance, hands down. so yeah, I would say that was probably my, you know, reading, I guess, yeah, that was my book series, actually a couple of them that kind of led me into that. Where do you read? I have kids, so honestly, I read anywhere that it's quiet, anywhere, maybe they're when they're in another area, maybe I'll be over here, somewhere where they're not in that vicinity at that point. I really do, when I read, I get distracted. I'm always like, oh, huh, you know, so I tend to get distracted very easily, so I tend to I definitely need that peace and quiet. So anywhere where it's quiet. Okay, so what kind of books do you read? So this is pretty easy. Like, this is a romance channel, so I mean, it's really not hard to know what I read. I definitely love fantasy and paranormal romance, but I am starting to really love historical romance. I love Sarah McLean, like her Bare Knuckle Bastard series. Good for her, bravo. Tessa Dare, I'm doing a reread of her series. What was it? The Duchess, or I'll put it in the comments below. I think it was like the Duchess games or something like that, and it is so freaking funny. Like, I forgot how funny that one was. It's hilarious. And then also, which other ones? I mean, Meyer Banks, the Scottish Highlanders one. Those guys are great. Margaret Mallory, she has like the Guardian series, I think, and that one was just, ooh, that was so good. So I am definitely going to historical a little bit more. I'm trying to think what other ones besides contemporary. Maria Zapata, girl, you, mwah, that Wall of Winnipeg and Me, that is the reason why I ran half marathon, no joke. If you guys have not read The Wall of Winnipeg and Me, From Luke Off with Love, Luna and the Lie, Colty, like, those are gems. If you need a good slow burn, those are awesome. But yeah, I mean, honestly, those are, so I read some contemporary, I tried to get into horror romance, and I'm not going to tell you the book, but I'm just going to say, I did not buy the whole, like, I can fall in love with a ghost and we can have a relationship with a ghost. Like, no, I can't do that. I mean, I know some of the horror ones have tried to pull that off, and I've yet to see it happen. So that'll be really interesting if that takes place. So, but I think that's all the questions I'm going to answer, because I feel like otherwise this video is going to be like 30 minutes long, and I want to keep it nice and short. So if you have any other questions for me, put them in the comments below. I will not hesitate to answer, you know, some questions you might have, or some book reviews you want me to do, or I mean, my next video, besides I'll probably be unboxing the G's. That video will probably pop up first, and then the next one will be the historical romance, or no, I'm sorry, it'll be fantasy romance for beginners, or if you read historical, fantasy romance for you, or whatever, like one of those things. So anyway, well, thanks guys for watching and hanging out with me for a little bit, and I hope you guys have a fabulous day, and take care, and we'll see you next time. Bye!